And I think sometimes we can lose our passion, purpose, and joy because we base our rating of our life. We don't go around giving ourselves numbers, but we, in essence, are constantly processing that. And sometimes it's because we base our joy, our passion, and our purpose on our immediate circumstances. Now, I have had some interesting circumstances in my life, and some of them are far more fun than others. And you would think that perhaps we would have a really, really amazing life if we could just go anywhere. Just imagine, if you could live anywhere, where would you live? Anywhere. Well, this is where God let me go. That's Lugano, Switzerland. It's on the northern Italian border. It is the Italian part of Switzerland. The language, the culture, everything's Italian. Therefore, I call it Switzerland. And I am the queen of Switzerland because I made it up. And my husband took a job there about 6 years ago, and we lived there for 2 years. And my circumstances were great. In fact, he blessed us so much, I don't want you to hate me, but I was suffering for Jesus. That was my front yard. I know. If I were to rate my life based on those circumstances, hey, life's a 10. And then every time I flew back and forth from San Diego to the States, which was 14 times in 2 years, people go, where do you live? And I go, I live in Lugano, Switzerland. And then I'd say, oh, you know Lake Como, Italy? And everybody knows Lake Como because there's a guy that lives there everybody knows. His name is? Yeah, George. People would ask me all the time, have you seen George Clooney? I'm like, are you kidding? Now, I don't know. Californians get asked these Southern Californians get asked these questions, but I'm living in Switzerland. Okay, I'm 20 minutes from Lake Como. So I answer them, of course, no, I have not seen George Clooney. However, about a year into living there, I went to a restaurant, and lo and behold, I'm sitting there having this nice, quiet dinner with 2 girlfriends, and in walks a small group, and I thought, gosh, that man in that group, if he weren't so short and so skinny, that could be George Clooney. He sat down, seriously, right about where you are from me, this close. By George, it was George. I've seen George Clooney. That's a 10, right? Well, then George. Some of you think it's a 10. Who thinks it's a 10? I'd rather have, than a GC sighting, I'd rather have a JC sighting. But let me finish my story. So George, who would have known he has some talents? He's sitting at his table, and he's putting a spoon on his nose, and he's letting go. And, he's just right there. I'm seeing him. George, what's up? But then he does it again. He puts it on his nose. He lets go. I can't let go. And he gives me this huge smile. And I'm thinking, what am I supposed to do, clap? And then it occurred to me, I've been spooned by George Clooney. Now, if you want to rate your life on circumstances, go for it. But, as I said, I'd much rather have a JC sighting. So often we can get that discouragement, but this is what I believe, ladies, and I believe it, and it's so funny. This morning, Ruth was talking about the storms of life and how God had woken her up and changed her message. And we both have some similarity to where God is leading us. I'm just wrapping it in a different package today. But one of the things that I really believe is that if you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, you can rate your life most days, an 8, 9, or a 10, despite your circumstances. And when the storms of life come in, whether they're literal or emotional or relational or whatever they are, you can find yourself within the eye of the storm of life. And even though it may not be your first choice, and it's not a trial you really would choose to go through, you can find yourself in peace and go, I know it's good. You know that old hymn, "It is well with the Lord"? It's just knowing you're okay, that you're in his arms.